You in this battle, man, I'll soon be dead. I'll glue your face to my dick so I can fuck with your head. I got metaphors coming through my pores. You probably never been in a battle before, so I hope you realize your mistake. There ain't no party, got some candles, this will be a piece of cake.
In this way the whole time.
So that's a
Yeah.
You could actually start recording. It would be funny if it's me explaining where to look. So I sometimes perform to the camera, but we're gonna look at each other. So if you want, Mike, if you want to copy what I do, you look at me. But if you really want to emphasize something, you just turn over there. Sometimes you even point. It's actually very unlikable, but I won't stop doing it.
I like being unlikable.
Hell yeah, dude.
So let's do it.
Dude, you got two likable guests on the podcast, folks. Welcome to the Before Hours podcast, hosted by an occasional morning person. It's an internet radio phenomenon, and I ask the most interesting people I know about their sleep, their routine, life, love, stress, and setbacks, and whatever else comes to mind. If you want to write to the show, tell us about your morning routine or whatever else is on your mind, please email the Before Hours podcast at gmail.com. I'll read it on the air, but for now, I got a comedian and all-around cool guy, Michael Sullivan. How you doing, Mike?
Good, Bobby. How are you? Thanks for having me on.
I'm decently
I
average,
appreciate
dude.
this.
I appreciate you. We were going to have Nathan Orton on, and he dimed out. And that's fine. Nathan Orton is a good guy, and we will have him on in a future episode. But I thought, you know who's funny and you know who's retired is Mike. So he's available. He's available last minute.
I'm around.
You're around. Ooh.
I'm around.
That
That's
actually sounds like way cooler. I'm around.
I'm around.
You want to have a bit of mystery when people ask, what do you do? What's your day like? And you're like, oh, I get around.
I get around.
Don't worry.
Here and there.
Here and
Here
there.
and there. A little bit of everything.
Ooh. You like to get lubed up, dude?
Yeah.
What are we doing?
I don't know.
You don't get around.
This
You're-
is going down a rabbit hole that I didn't think it was going to be like that.
You know, I'm gonna go ahead and say you don't get around though because you are a wife guy. I'm gonna say
Yeah, married, kids, the whole bit.
married and kids.
Yeah.
Dude, we've been friends for years, and I think this is me learning that you have kids.
Yeah, I don't tell anybody anything. I just kind of like show up, do my thing, and leave.
Okay.
And then it's like, okay, thank you, bye.
Yeah, I think that I learned the most about you on the outside of the Tiny Cupboards, a comedy club we both perform at, and Gabe Ross was there, and we had a three-way conversation, and yeah, and that's where I learned the most about you, dude.
Yeah, that was a long hang. We talked outside for what, a good hour and a half almost?
An hour and a half. It was cool. The three of us were talking. At some point, a female comedian joined our circle and then cried and then left. That was weird. But other than that,
Yeah, I didn't know how to react to that. I really, she's a nice girl too. And I was just like, oh wow.
Max, let's not clip that. But I've been retelling this story, which is a very mean thing to do. But and because I breezed through it, I'll say it again. So you, myself, and Gabe were in a circle, cool guy circle, having a combo, and woman comedian new to New York joins the circle. And New York's been real tough to her because New York is tough, and not everybody's like a tough guy like you and I. You know what I mean? So she was like, "I'm just having a real hard time in New York." She starts crying, and both of our reactions, I think, were very funny. I don't know if you remember. My reaction was, "Do you want a hug?" To which she went, "No," which I thought was fucking so great because I'm like, "Damn, I look like a creep right now." And then yours, you remember what your reaction was?
I kind of moved away.
You moved away. And you said, "Can I buy you something from the store?"
Yeah.
I like that.
I kind of went into like dad mode at that point. Like usually ice cream makes them feel better. So here's an ice. I'm just glad you said hug first because I almost blurted that out.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad I didn't. And I'm glad it was you. No offense, Bob, but I'm glad it was you that you took the hit on that one. Where it was no.
Yeah. It's I took the bullet for that one. And I like it if anybody was like walking by, all they saw was me. I almost feel like, fuck, am I the where's my hug guy? But I'm like, no, I'm not the where's my hug guy. I just panicked. You know.
You should have told her she should smile more.
Should smile.
She should smile. I don't know.
Hey,
but I did. I felt so bad for her. And I've seen her since then. She's super cool and she's a very funny girl. So.
Yeah, hell yeah, dude. And so your father, tell me about your kids.
I have 3 kids, 23, 19, and 17.
Ooh, okay. So you're almost done.
You're never done. That's the one thing I've learned. Like, you're never done being a parent.
Uh-huh.
Like, I'm sure your parents you still talk to are both your parents still alive?
Yes.
So I'm sure you still talk to both your parents,
Mhm,
right?
mhm.
You know, they're still asking you parent type questions, correct?
Yeah.
Like, what's going on? How you doing? Do you
Mhm.
need any? You do that for the rest of your life.
Okay.
Like, that's the craziest. People, it's easier with some things, but then gets harder in other things where, like, you see your kids get older,
Mhm.
or you see them. I mean, seeing your kids struggle is the worst thing. That's it hurts you more than if you were struggling.
Okay.
That's what I've learned so far.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I'm nowhere near father of the year at all.
I was just gonna say that.
But yeah, thank you. Can you give me a hug? But yeah, that's like the toughest thing. You're constantly, you always just want them. You want your kids to do better than you. That's, I think, a big thing, right? I think most parents want that. Like, every generation, you want them to do better and better.
Mhm.
And like I said, like, when you see them struggle, you struggle more for them.
Yeah.
And it's just, that's the toughest thing. One of the toughest things to deal with as a parent,
Mhm.
watching them become adults and, like, having to let go, and not like, well, I had the path for you going this way, and now you're going this way. That can sometimes bring conflict and struggle too.
Yeah.
So that's tough.
And I imagine, like, I've been thinking about this more as I've been, like, reflecting on how I acted as an adolescent and a young adult, where I was like, dude, I was making so many mistakes. And the whole time my parents were like, you're about to make a mistake. And I'm like, these fucking baby boomers don't know
Yeah.
what they're talking about. You know what I mean? But now I'm like, well, fuck, they were right. And that must be frustrating.
Yeah, sometimes when you tell it, like, maybe you shouldn't be doing this right now.
Mhm.
Maybe this isn't the right decision for you to do.
Mhm.
No, you don't know. My friend and we all know it. We were all teenagers.
Yeah.
We were all kids at one time. Your friends, I realize this now way more.
Mhm.
You realize it way more as a parent, where your kids' friends have so much more influence
Yeah.
than the parents do. And I mean, listen, I grew up in the 80s. I didn't grow up with social media, and now I can see millions more kids having this great life
Mhm.
and doing what they want to do. Like, why should I listen to my parents?
Yeah.
And all right, growing up, like, with social media, I didn't see all these teenage millionaires running around.
Yeah.
Now it's like, why do I need to go to school?
Uh-huh.
Why do I need to have good grades? This kid puts on makeup every day and makes $800,000 a month
Yeah.
for having an Instagram, OnlyFans influencer, whatever they are,
Mhm.
whatever they're called. So it's definitely gotten harder to be a parent, I think.
You're like, son, you have to listen to me. And he's like, Dad, how many Instagram followers do you
Yeah.
have?
How many likes did you get on that last post, loser? To me, the worst kid is, there's that little like 9-year-old Asian kid that plays with toys
Okay.
on YouTube.
Mhm.
I think maybe he's like 10 years old now.
Yeah.
He makes $8 to $10 million a year to play with toys. Like, his father just has this setup
Mhm.
and says, here's a transformer,
Yeah.
play with it. And this kid makes 8 to 10. How am I supposed to compete with that as a parent, to say, Bobby, did you do your studies today, Bobby?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or do you want to play with a toy?
Just to explain to like a kid that explaining delayed gratification is almost impossible.
Yeah.
Like, trust me, it'll work. And they're like, fuck, dude, I want to. That's why I think, like, the get rich quick guys, those schemer, like,
Yeah.
con men, dude. It's like, fuck, that's such a good angle, because so many people are like, I would like the fabulous prizes without the work, please. You know?
Everyone wants that.
Mhm.
That's the greatest gag going. I mean, pyramid schemes and all that crap. It's like,
Mhm.
why work for it? No, I'll get it for you right now. Just give me a bunch of money.
Yeah.
And especially when you're young, you're like, I don't want to be old and rich. I want to be young and rich and
Yeah.
really enjoy it.
Yeah, young and rich honestly does beat old and rich, but I will say that I think the later in life you get rich and famous, the more adjusted to it you will be, and that's what you tell
Yeah.
yourself when you're 32 and you're doing comedy.
Or 51.
Hell yeah, dude. Yeah, you could be my dad if you had kids way too young.
Yeah.
Mhm. Like, upsettingly too young.
Yeah, if I made that mistake at the prom, you'd
Yeah.
be my kid right now. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I'm so lucky I didn't. Again, this is sour grapes, but I didn't lose my virginity until I was 20. And by then, I already have enough neuroticism to wrap it up. You know what I mean? But at 16, I might have been raw dogging bitches here and there if it was an option for me. But it just wasn't.
Smart move.
Yeah.
See, smart. Hopefully your father said something though, like if he gave you like, listen, if you're gonna have sex, just use protection.
Zero sex talk with my parents. None.
Really?
At all.
Nothing?
Nothing.
I remember I got a sex talk,
Really?
but it was like it was almost like a football thing. There was like a chalkboard and just like, it was very X's and O's. Like,
Okay.
listen, kind of.
There's going to be 8 other guys there.
Yeah.
Or however many guys are on a football field.
Yeah. You're going to be standing over here
Mhm.
and you're going to swing out left and do a button hook pass. But no, it was I think it was very clinical, the talk I got when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And then like you try and give it to your kids. And like I said, man, with social media, they know more.
Yeah.
I mean, if I had access to porn 24/7
Mhm.
as a 14-year-old,
Mhm.
I would still I'd be a hermit living
Yeah.
under a bridge right now. I would have never went back to school. I would have never done, and I would just be living near a nice Wi-Fi connection right
Yeah.
now, and that would be it. It's insane.
Yeah, it's almost good that porn needed to be as big as it is because of the internet. Because
Yeah.
at least we created the internet first. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Can you imagine if somehow everyone had access to the porn that we all have access to now? Like before we figured out plumbing, there'd be no plumbing.
Yeah, there'd be nothing.
Yeah, people would be dumping in the
We would
streets.
still be drawing on cave walls.
Just
Dirty pictures.
Yeah, just giant titties surrounded by like 12 dudes. And future anthropologists are like, I wonder what this means. And they're like, there's a Japanese word called bukkake. Dude, bukkake, as I will say, once I started watching those, I was like, this is so far removed from like finding a woman and starting a family that I think I may have to slow my roll a little bit.
All right. Have you ever like gone down the rabbit hole of porn with like stuff you're not into
Mhm.
just for the spectacle of it?
Well, it will turn in like there was a you're not supposed to say midget. So it was a little bitch. It was
I'm picking up what you're laying down right
okay,
now.
hell yeah.
Definitely, because
Mhm.
I went down that street.
and it's just like, I need to watch. You're like, if this is available, why wouldn't I watch
Yeah.
it? Who's watching porn with only the type of women that they could reasonably have sex with? I'm gonna go on record as saying I couldn't bag a little person. I don't think so. I think they might go too far in the other direction where they need like a big tall guy. You know what I mean?
I remember the first time I saw little person porn.
Mhm.
And there used to be a porn. She was a porn star. I don't know if she's
Mhm.
still around.
By the
She
way,
was-
shouts out to us for saying little person porn.
Yeah,
It's very
we're-
progressive. Of us.
This is a progressive podcast.
We're
folks.
being disgusting, but in the most respectful way
Yes.
possible.
She was called Bridget rhymed with her name.
Okay. Mhm.
So, and she had been on like Howard Stern.
Oh yeah.
She had been on like the Bunny Ranch
Mhm.
show and everything. So I was like, my friend had a tape. This is how long ago it was. He had a tape.
Mhm.
So I was like, all right, I couldn't get in it. It looked like a child.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was just like, it was 2 minutes in. And I'm
Mhm.
like, man, this is not working.
Mhm.
I was like, I'm done. Okay.
They
thank
do
you.
have like the face. That's what's disorienting about seeing a little person in the wild is that you think they're a child at first, and then you see their adult face, and you're like, oh my god.
And that was it. A lot of times, if
Mhm.
she moved around and you didn't see the face,
Yeah.
you just saw, and you're like, no, I'm done.
Yeah,
that was it.
No dice Chicago. But
Right.
if they have like giant titties, then it's fine. As our friend Dave Chappelle once said, she may be retarded, but those titties ain't retarded. Same thing could apply to a little person.
Those titties ain't little.
Yeah, exactly, dude. The opposite of little man. Cool. So you're a father. That's great.
Yeah.
just
And we
to-
just talked about porn. Yeah.
That's when you get older, you're like, oh yeah, my dad is a sexual being too. Not my mom, but my dad.
Woman's
for
a
sure.
saint.
Mhm,
That woman's a
exactly.
saint.
Yeah. Saint Bernard.
Oh.
That's a joke from Cheers. If anybody's watched Cheers, that show barely holds up. I'm sorry, you were about to say something.
I just watched the first episode yesterday.
Like the
'cause I
pilot?
threw it on.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it was. I've been doing this. Not to get too personal, but like I take care of my mother-in-law. She lives with us, and so I'll just throw on like a show and just let it run for hours. So I do a lot of like 80s and 90s sitcoms that
Mhm.
she would probably remember. So yesterday I hit Cheers,
Yeah.
and I remember the pilot episode is a 15-year-old kid. That's the first scene of the show. Is a 15-year-old kid walking in trying to buy a beer.
Oh, I do remember
And he
that,
goes, "Yeah, let me get a beer, chief." And
Yeah.
he hands him an ID. This is how long the show was on in like 84.
Mhm.
The kid hands him an ID, and he goes, "You were born in 1948. You're 37 years old or whatever."
Yeah.
And you're like, "Holy shit, it was that long ago." And,
Yeah.
and he goes, "Nah, get out, kid." And then Shelley Long walks in, and the rest is that show. Yeah, Norm holds up. Norm and
holds
Cliff.
up,
I
dude.
think Norm and Cliff hold up,
Oh, they're great.
but
The 80s Abbott and Costello.
yeah, but like it is a very dated show.
Mhm.
It is. I mean, there are other shows too. Like, yeah, a lot of those. I will say though, Golden Girls holds up. Give Golden Girls a looky loo. It is.
I'll give them a look.
It is the most dirtiest show you will. It has the most sexual entendres.
Okay.
If I'm saying it correctly,
Mhm.
you will ever watch on a TV show.
Okay.
It's just 4 horny old women
Okay.
making sex jokes
Ooh,
every week.
I'm listening.
And the oldest one is Sophia, who is B. Arthur's mother on the show. She's the dirtiest one. She's like supposed to be in like her late 80s or whatever. And she's like the dirtiest one on the show.
Yeah.
She's always making these like Italian euphemisms for, hey, you want to go play hide the cannoli? You know, like, you're like, you're 80 and it's disgusting. But yeah, give Golden Girls a look.
I might.
And
Hey,
it's very dirty.
we might do a Golden Girls watch
Betty
along.
White,
Betty White,
the
dude.
late great Betty. They're all gone now. I think they're all dead, the whole cast.
R.I.P. to real ones. You know what upsets me about her death, other than all death is upsetting, is that she was like a few months away from being 100. Isn't that crazy? And same thing with what's his name? Who's the old person that died recently?
Bob Barker.
Bob Barker. He was like a few
See-
months away from being 100.
See, do you hold him in reverence the way I do?
I just know he hates dog balls.
Yeah, he hates animal procreation.
Mhm.
But see, my generation, probably up to the age of, I would say, early 40s,
Mhm.
we hold him in reverence.
Okay.
Because when you were home sick from school as a kid,
Mhm.
that's who you watched. You watched Price is Right was on, whatever time, I think it's still on here in New York, like 12 in the afternoon.
Okay.
He was the host of that show for like 35 years before Drew Carey.
Okay.
And he was just like a staple. And anytime you were home sick from school, your mom gave you some chicken soup, some ginger ale, and you watched Bob on the Showcase Showdown.
Damn, that
And
does
we
sound
loved
nice.
him.
Yeah.
And everyone got their pets spaded or neutered because he was I don't know what his deal was with that, but he was really into that. He banged like some of those models on the show
Oh, that's cool.
back in the day. He was a supposed player.
Hell yeah, dude.
They used to have these leggy blonde supermodels
Mhm.
on the show. And I know he was definitely taking one to school like every night.
Hell yeah.
And then he broke up with her. And this is like old school 80s, we hate you. It was like he broke up with her, fired her, and then she like sued the show
Yeah.
and she got like a whole bunch of money. But
Yeah.
he had some life, man. He
That rules.
had a nice run.
He was a player. And speaking of players, I think you met Bill Clinton.
Yes.
Yeah, what was that? Because I remember we were talking on the infamous night at the Tiny Cupboard with Gabriel Ross, friend of the show. You mentioned that you met Bill Clinton, and please tell me if I'm misquoting you, but I think your words were you shake his hand and he looks you in the eye and you want to suck his dick.
Close to it.
Close to it.
I was just having this conversation with we were talking about famous people we
Mhm.
met, and he has this thing. They say some people have it where it's like they captivate the room as soon as they walk in, the electricity, whatever it is. And I met him, I shook his hand, and there were maybe like 10, 12 people around us. And you feel like it's just you and him.
Yeah.
And he just has you, man. Like you were like, I'll vote Democrat right now if that's what you want me to do. Like I bet he's the guy when they need someone killed. They're like, Bill, go talk to the CIA. And, hey, this guy got some documents. We got to get rid of it. If you could just I mean, do me a favor. Be my friend. Do me a favor. I don't know. But that's what it's like. It's like you would do anything for this guy. Mm-hmm. So I can understand why a 19-year-old intern just dropped to her knees and TCB'd right in the Oval Office.
Yeah. Yeah, she was only 19, but her mind was older.
Yes.
You know, and what a gross thing. I know this has been talked about before, but saving the dress.
Smart and weird.
Weird to get, but I don't think she saved the dress for like a lawsuit. I don't think that was the original intent. I think she was like, I got the president's semen.
Or do you think she was sloppy and lazy and just never did the laundry and was like, gross. Oh shit, I still have this dress. Guess look what I got.
She's actually kind of funny on Twitter.
Yeah.
Her bio is like mentioned in over 100 rap songs, which is true. Yeah, rappers in the late 90s, early 2000s, they loved making like puns about Monica Lewinsky.
I felt bad for her.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with honestly, like especially I have daughters and like it was she's 19.
Yeah.
She's a 19-year-old. He was 40 something years old.
And it's the president.
It's the president of the United. There was a whole thing about her and her mom supposedly had like a competition of who, because I think her mom is kind of like rich and powerful, or married or was married to a rich and powerful guy, and they kind of had this competition of who could get the bigger fish.
Oh, if that's true,
I've heard that. I don't know how true it is. You can Google it at home.
Google it at home, guys.
Bing it at home. You know, everyone says Google. Bing it. Let's do Bing it.
I like that.
Let's bring Bing it.
It's like the Dr. Pepper of search engines. Hell yeah, dude. If that is true, her mom is. That's like borderline child abuse.
Yeah, that's just creepy, weird.
Yeah.
You know what that is? That's like rich people behavior. That's like uber rich, like nothing offends me. It's just flesh. I don't know why everyone makes a big deal about it. It's one of those.
Oh, man. That's fucking so weird. So, Mike, I got to ask you, are you a morning person?
No. Never been.
Okay.
Never been my whole life.
Okay.
I am more of a afternoon, all-nighter person.
All-nighter person.
I used to work all night, midnights for like a decade, and it still wreaks havoc. Like I haven't worked those hours in probably like 7-8 years, but they just wreak havoc on your system. Yeah. Like there are times where I am tired and it'll be 10, 11 o'clock at night and I want to go to bed. And then I just stare at the wall for 4 hours.
Oh, even that.
And just like on the phone and just like, it's like you got to do something and you're just trying to kill time. But you're so used to your body being a certain, like when you start doing shift work and working late hours, it just wreaks havoc on you. Like 8 o'clock in the morning or 7 o'clock in the morning, you might not eat the whole night or just have like a little snack. And then at 8 o'clock in the morning, it's like dinner time. You become like this ferocious animal that just like, I'm going to make 17 eggs and a half a pound of bacon and just wash it down with maybe a cup of coffee. I don't care. This is my 5 o'clock right now. And I'm hungry and I got to eat. And then just fall asleep at like 11 o'clock in the morning with all of that on your body. And it beats you up. The
behavior of either an alcoholic or someone that works shift work.
I was both.
Yeah.
So it was 8 o'clock was my 5 o'clock. And that used to be all day too. And that would just skyrocket.
Yeah. We're both sober Samuels.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's, when did you stop?
5 years ago.
Oh, hell yeah.
A little over 5.
Yeah. We're around the Psalm 7. That's cool, man. Yeah. What was it? I just had a complete another brain fart. Do you think which came first, the chicken or the egg? You know what I mean? Or is it like completely unrelated? Like, because I think if you
what do you mean, the hours and the drinking?
Yeah.
No, I was definitely drinking more. Well, my hours before I worked all night, I would work like 3 in the afternoon until 11 o'clock at night. So it was like great because you could go out all night till 4 in the morning.
Yeah.
Get home. Sleep till 1 o'clock in the afternoon if you wanted to. Get up, take a shower, and go back to work.
Oh, geez.
So I mean, it was a conducive lifestyle at one point, and then it just didn't become conducive. You know, and as you get older, the hangovers suck.
Yes.
I was just talking to my friend about this, and he's 52, And he's like, man, he goes, I have just slowed down so much. He goes, I had a beer on Sunday.
Yeah.
I was like, one? He goes, yeah, man. He goes, I cannot take the next day anymore.
Yeah.
He goes, and he's got kids, younger kids. He has smaller kids. And
Uh-huh.
he's just like, dude, I have to run around with my kids all day. I
Yeah.
cannot be hungover.
Uh-huh.
And it's like, yeah, it does. It beats you up. It really beats you up physically.
Yeah.
And then you realize, like, afterwards, when you stop, someone's like, I remember someone telling me, you should go to the doctor and just get some blood work done.
Uh-huh.
And the doctor was like, whoa,
Yeah.
my man, okay, this is what you're going to do. I'm going to put you on some pills for a while, and we're going to bring this down and bring this up, and don't eat this shit anymore. And don't. So, yeah. It is like, I don't know did you do that when you stopped? Because I had someone tell me, like, you should get a checkup because you don't know what you really did to your body.
No, when I quit drinking, I didn't go to the doctor right away, but I remember one of the last times I think it was the last time I went to the doctor while I was still drinking. And I quit when I was 25. So when I went, I must have been like 23 or 24. And I was on my parents' health insurance.
Okay.
And I signed the, waiver that I'm like, when my blood work's done, you could call the house phone. And if my mom answers, you could give her the information. And this doctor was like really weird. Because you think of doctors as being like non-judgmental. You know what I mean? You're supposed to tell your doctor or whatever.
Yeah.
And then they're like, okay. And then they just try to fix it or advise you or whatever. Keep in mind, I'm like 23 or 24. She's asking me all the questions. She's like, and, I assume you're not sexually active. And I'm like, what the fuck? Because I'm not married? What the fuck? That was so weird to me. And then she's like, and you don't drink, smoke, or do drugs, I assume. I'm like it gave off this real like church lady vibe.
I'm better than you.
Yeah. So I did. I'm like, well, I do drink sometimes. And she's like, how often? And then you get embarrassed. So I was like, drink here and there. And she did the blood work. And then later she calls my mom and she goes, we got Robert's liver lipids or whatever they are, like the liver count.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And she was like, he said he drinks sometimes. And my mom went, more than sometimes. And she's like, yeah, I could tell by looking at his liver count. And I'm like, at 23 or 24, that's insane that you could tell by looking at my blood.
What is it? Fatty liver or whatever. Yeah. Once you get fatty liver, you're done. It's like, you've had some fun.
Yeah.
If you have fatty liver, you had some fun in your life.
But so I didn't go to the doctor right after I stopped drinking, but the next time I did go to the doctor, after like maybe 6 months, a year, the liver was back to normal. And I think part of that is like the privilege of having like quit so early.
Yeah.
I feel bad for people that like cross the fucking guy from Smash Mouth. I don't know if everybody knows that.
That's one of those things I kind of look at like, maybe I could have kept drinking because I wasn't that bad. This guy drank himself to death.
Yeah.
I don't think I would have done that. I know two guys who have done that.
Really?
Yeah, two. And one guy was told like, you should, if you stop for a year, then we can put you on the list because he needed like a liver transplant and everything. And he just said, well, fuck that. And he went balls to the wall. And 6 months later was no mas.
Yeah.
And, yeah. But yeah, Smash Mouth. God needed an all-star, I guess. I mean.
Turns out the years do stop coming.
Yeah.
Damn, dude, that's wild. Yeah, I remember because he had wet brain.
Yeah.
Wet brain. I learned about it after I quit drinking, but that would have, I think, scared the shit out of me enough to stop because it's just like in your 50s, you get the brain of an 80 or 90-year-old just from too much boozing. You know what I mean?
What was I going to say now? I think I have wet brain.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's possible, but I do sometimes think that because I've had brain farts, some of them on mic, a lot of them off mic, and I do think there's. Even though I stopped when I was very young, I did like drink constantly for 9 years, and that's got to hurt your brain a little bit.
It's got. Oh, that. were you a liquor guy or a beer guy?
So here's how here is the level of denial that I was in, because real early in my drinking career I had some terrible nights, and I thought, you know what, that's it, I'm going to stop drinking liquor. You know what I mean? And then you know what changed is I kept acting like a lunatic and my life was falling apart, but I was also getting fat from the beer.
Yeah, because I've heard people do this one of like, yeah, you know what kills these alcoholics, right? They're drinking liquor.
Yeah,
it's the liquor, man. Dude, you drink all the beer you want, man. Keep drinking. I'm like, I don't know.
There's someone in my life.
Yeah, now I have type 2 diabetes. Thank you.
Yeah, because it's like the equivalent of like eating 3 loaves of bread a night. Yeah. Or people that are like, you know what's good? The antioxidants in the wine.
Yeah.
They drink wine and they have fucking like red teeth.
Red teeth.
Like, what are you doing, dude? Come on. Also, drinking wine, it's like, if you're gonna like poison yourself, at least don't be a pussy about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Wine as a man. I know we have some international listeners. If you're from Italian, this doesn't apply to you. But if you're a man drinking wine, come on.
No, drink a Peroni.
Yeah.
Have Peroni. Be a man.
What was your drink of choice?
I was a beer dude.
Yeah.
Beer guy with I liked shots, but I mean, sometimes too much whiskey is just too much whiskey. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the shots of Jameson. I did get in, like, see, we both quit before like all these White Claws and all that shit came out. Like, I kind of like, I'm like, I probably would have went to that because there's like no sugar, no carbs in it. Now you're like, I got a reason to drink.
Yeah.
And like, I can't get that sick. No, but yeah, I was like a beer and a shot guy. Mostly Jameson or whiskey. Every now and then, like I got into Fireball a little. I would like a fight because it was just like drinking candy.
Yeah.
Those like candy shots sometimes. I mean, when I first started drinking, going to bars, it was like Heineken and Jägermeister all night.
Okay.
And it was just like, oh, and then like topping it off with like White Castle on Queens Boulevard was not good. I don't know how my entrails just haven't fallen out of my body or.
Yeah, when you're young, you're like, I could drink and eat whatever I want and like never sleep and like have a nice time. And I think that's what I think of when I see like a really old fat guy with like missing teeth. I'm like, oh, he never learned. You know, he was never like,
he didn't flick the off switch at all. He was just like,
well, that's like when I was drinking, because when you're drinking, your friends drink the way you do because you know that's you're like the same. But in college, it's normal. And then what I was learning, because I was like a few years, like I graduated when I was like 22, 23, and I kept going, and everybody else like relaxed. You know what I mean? Everybody else made the real adult decision of like, all right, well, that's how you behave in college, and college is over now. But I was like, no, dude, let's keep this party going. You know, that was my Achilles heel in general, is that I would always be the let's keep this party going guy.
Yeah, I was that guy.
Yeah,
I was like, where are we going?
Exactly.
So what? The bar shut down. Let's go buy a case of beer and hang out in a park.
Yeah,
till the sun comes up. Why? Why not? I don't care. It's February. So what? Put a jacket on.
Yeah.
Let's go have fun. It is. Yeah. I think that's still like most of us. It was no off switch.
Yeah.
Like once you put that action in motion, I guess.
Yeah.
That's it. This is my day.
No
matter what, like say, what is it? 2 something right now? Hey, Bob, let's go get a beer. I know the day's over.
The day is over.
My day is over. And when I stop, and then I just go home and pass out. That would be it. That would be like the day.
I was this was after I got sober, and I was working a desk job, and I, for whatever reason, we all went out to lunch, and I was looking at the people that were having a beer with lunch, and I'm like, they're fucking gonna go back to work after this. That's crazy. They're gonna sit at their desk and do their fucking computer job with like a slight buzz that will eventually go away. You know what I mean? And I'm like, how is the next step? Like, all right, let's get another one. Let's go to another place. I would always try to get laid too. And the thing is, I'm not like a Casanova now, but drunk Bobby, Not doing it for anybody. I don't, because I think there is the tiny window where you have that confidence.
Yeah.
But I would breeze through that window very quickly to being like a slurring, like stumbling.
Yeah,
idiot.
everyone had that small window of confidence, and you still had function in your brain.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, so what's that? Oh, no, that's cool. All right.
I remember.
And then it turned into, this is what you want. You pretty girl. I like you.
I remember this is when I was like, oh, I think maybe my relationship to this is not normal. Is like, I was at a bar and I was drinking. I was talking to this girl and she was like out of my league, like objectively. And we were drinking and I felt myself getting drunker. And I'm like, I should slow down so I could try to fuck this woman. And then my next thought was, well, if I slow down, I may or may not fuck this woman, but if I keep drinking, I'll definitely get drunk. You know what I mean? And it's like complete, like that's not how our species advances. If everybody thinks that way, you know, and it's like a complete lack of, like we were saying before, delayed gratification.
Yeah.
You know, because I was like, no, I want the endorphins right now.
No, I need that. Yeah, I need that. This may happen. This I know will happen.
Exactly.
I got porn at home.
Exactly.
I have a phone.
Dude, I wonder how many like guys today, because you're Gen X, right?
Yes.
And I'm a millennial, like Gen Z guys that are like, approaching a woman is sort of nerve wracking. I'm gonna go home and jack off to porn, and like, what implication is that gonna have for us in the near future? You know,
the species will die.
I know, dude. They're already having that problem in Japan, and I think it's gonna.
Isn't there something to it, China, where they were talking about the underpopulation of it?
Really?
Yeah, there was some guy on some show talking about that.
Interesting.
About how that like their economy is in fear of collapsing because of that, having like one child economy and everything.
So they went in like the complete other direction because a while it was an overpopulation situation. That's crazy. I know a little bit about the Japan thing because they're a Western country in a lot of respects, but their work culture is like insane.
Yeah.
Like I remember I saw this picture on Reddit and it was saying, look at this picture of a Japanese workforce. They have beds in case they have to take naps during the day. And I think what was lost on the person posting was, no, it's because they're expected to like live at work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You don't leave till like the job is done. It's not like I'll come back tomorrow and finish it. No, it'll get finished today.
I don't know if you know Ryo Hayashi. He's a Japanese comedian.
Yes. I remember Ryo. Is he back in the United States?
He's back, baby.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he's from Japan. Very funny comedian. And he was telling me one time, because I had heard about the Japanese thing of you don't leave until the boss leaves. And the thing about the boss is like, you know, sometimes he'll be there for 12 hours, but everyone is waiting for him to leave. And I thought this was like you know, it's encouraged. We don't necessarily have to do that. But he told me one time he left before the boss did. And then the next day the boss called him in the office and was like, hey, what was that about? Like straight up was like, I noticed you left after, you know, only 9 or 10 hours, but it was before
Slacker.
Yeah, exactly, dude.
Yeah, I've heard that. I remember, oh, excuse me, but the 80s, like when I was growing up, it was strict competition with them, with Japan, because Japan had like come into this country with all the cars and the products and like just wiped out American like factories everywhere, man. Like car factories were going under. We weren't making electronics anymore. We weren't doing and everything went to Japan and they just did it better and cheaper. And that's where like where we started to like model their work ethic now. Like you kind of like see it here now where a lot of people just work, but for some reason or whatever, people in Europe are just like 3-hour lunch.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't get that. But then people always, oh, like Europe's better. But then some of those people live in just like clay houses too.
Yeah.
You know, it's like some of those people have to shit in a backyard of their house, or if they have a backyard, they have to kill dinner. You know, it's not like that. That doesn't seem that great either. You know?
Yeah, I had a friend from the Czech Republic, and he was like, "Oh, I take August off, of course." And I'm like, "Of course,
Yeah.
August, a full month." Yeah, but there's something to be said of like you want a good work-life balance, but you think about how America is like such an innovator for like a lot of technology and inventions and all that stuff, and you're like, interesting. You know what I mean? You know what I think the conflict is in a lot of American workplaces, because I've experienced this when I had a desk job. Of course, I would work hard while I was there, but I was a clock watcher.
Yeah.
In the sense I would set my alarm for 4:59, just to give myself the 1 minute warning. You know what I mean? And bosses don't like that, because I think, especially because I've worked at a lot of like New York City startups. So you're working at the boss's dream.
Yeah.
But it's not your dream.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, hey, to me, it would be a little frustrating, because I'm like, if this company makes it, you're going to reap most of the awards. I might get a raise. You know what I mean? So
you're getting a Ferrari.
Yeah.
I'm getting, a new laptop, maybe.
Yeah.
So.
And towards the end of me working at a desk job, they could just fucking feel it too. I remember I had a boss ask that I stay at the end of a work meeting, and I was like, "What's this gonna be about?" For a second I thought I was gonna get fired, but I'm like, "There's no way she would have me sit in on a meeting before firing me. That'd be crazy."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm like, I wonder what this is about. And this is how dumb I am. I'm like, oh, I'm about to get a fucking raise. And the last person leaves, the door closes behind them, and it's just me and her, my boss. And she goes, the way you operate at a meeting is like borderline disrespectful. Because she could just feel that I didn't care anymore. You know what I mean?
A lot of eye rolling.
No, not even eye rolling, but I just I couldn't like fake enthusiasm anymore. I think you know what it was is I was like I think I was sat like this for those just listening, like slouching a little bit. You know what I mean?
You didn't put the hands behind the head.
I might have put the hands behind my head.
Bobby, step in my office.
Yeah,
you're fired. You're fired. That. Do a lot of this in the meeting.
Yeah.
a lot of watch. Yeah.
Clock watch. Literal clock watch.
Yeah.
Have you ever fired somebody?
No.
It seems
I wouldn't want to.
Yeah.
I would not want to.
Seems like a stressful thing to do.
Yeah. Ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I would be so agreeable as a business owner. I would be like, hey, I noticed you didn't come in 3 days this week. That really bums me out. Can you try not to do that anymore? You know what I mean? I would give I'm agreeable by nature.
Yeah, I would go more warnings.
Warnings.
You got to go warning at least, because then if you do have to do it, you're kind of like, I gave you, Bobby, you were late 3 times last week, like over an hour. Listen, man, you got to pick it up, buddy. All right, listen, team, with the team, and then if you fuck up again, well, Bob, step in my. Bob, it's not me. It's not me. I like you.
My dad was a supermarket manager, and he once had to fire somebody just for being like just an awful employee. And he threw the awful employee threw a box of razors at my dad, which seems stressful, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I like and it spawned it's like a fucking joke between us now, but like he called the police and they came and they were asking the newly fired employee who threw razor blades at my dad, why did you do that? And he starts denying it. He goes, man, I wasn't gonna shank Mr. Sheehan. And it's just I wasn't gonna shank Mr. Sheehan is like a sentence that I get in my head at least once a week because it makes me laugh so much, dude. But yeah, my dad's never been shanked. Thank God.
Thank God. He never did time in prison or anything.
Never, no. But my dad, unlike me, I don't know how this happened, but he's a big dude.
Yeah.
You know, well, short and stocky, but he's got like the broad shoulder. You don't fuck with my dad. And my dad shaves his head too. So one of my friends referred to my dad as someone who, quote, looks like he beat the shit out of anybody, which is so not my energy. Yeah. I look more like my mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lovely Mrs. Sheehan.
Shout out to Mrs. Sheehan.
Mrs. Sheehan.
She actually kept her maiden name, which I'm going to keep a secret from
Okay, we don't have to say that.
You might be friends with her on Facebook. My mom loves...
O'Sullivan?
So
So your mom's last name O'Sullivan?
yeah.
Is she an aunt I don't know about? somewhere?
Possibly, dude. What if we're like distant cousins? That's exciting.
Let's do a 23andMe after this.
You're a native New Yorker, right?
Yeah, I grew up in Astoria.
Hell yeah, dude. I love Astoria.
Very. It's like, yeah, my family's still there and stuff.
Mhm.
But yeah, it changed. It used to be so Greek. That's what people like don't understand that live there now. Like, oh yeah, there's Greeks. No. The whole neighborhood was like Greek. Like we would like the Irish, the Italians, and like the Spanish people that live there. We were like just visiting.
Yeah.
And like the Greeks ran everything. And every storefront had Greek lettering on it.
Yeah.
If they didn't have Greek lettering on it, there was a sign in the window that said, "We speak Greek."
Oh, okay.
Because there was so many Greek immigrants that lived in Astoria. Every store had, do you guys know who Ernie Anastas is? He was a news reporter, local news guy in the city for like 50 years. And he was like king of the Greeks, kind of. So like every Greek store had a picture of him. If you go into like old school Greek diners, there's probably an autographed picture of him and like Telly Savalas, who played TV's Kojak, on the wall. That means it's a real Greek diner.
Yeah. If you don't see that picture,
Or and maybe now if you update it, maybe like a Stamos and the chick from My Big Fat Greek Wedding.
yes.
But like Ernie Anastas and Telly were the staples. You're like, this is gonna be good food in here. These guys are really Greek.
Whenever I'm in Astoria, I make sure I go to a diner.
Yes.
Yeah, because you're gonna go to an actual Greek diner.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes the server is just a big fat Greek guy, and that's fun. You know what I mean?
What do you want, my friend? What do you want, my friend? What do you want?
Yeah.
What do you like? Everything fresh today.
Yeah.
Everything is fresh.
Everything fresh.
Yeah, everything fresh.
Yeah, except for maybe like the seafood. That's
Yeah,
for some reason.
Have you ever ordered like something whack? I've never gone in and said, "How's the spaghetti bolognese today?
Yeah.
Is it good?
See, I love breakfast food, so the idea of getting anything at a diner that's not breakfast food is entirely alien to me.
All right, I'm a breakfast guy and a burger. A breakfast or burger guy.
Yeah.
That's it. I would not. Yeah, or once in a while, maybe a turkey club. I'll go with turkey club. But yeah, I'll have the fillet of sole.
Yeah.
No, I'm not doing that. Who does that, man?
That's very funny to think of like an old Greek guy with like a cigarette hanging out and like a wife beater where his like stomach is hanging out, just like, you know, frantically looking through a book to how to fillet a fish properly.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think like everything they have everything on that menu, but I think it's just super frozen.
Yeah,
because I noticed that too when you order. I've seen people like order off those. It's going to be a few minutes.
Yeah.
Once they say that, like he's throwing that thing in a microwave to thaw that out so he can. Just get a burger, man.
Yeah.
Get some scrambled eggs.
Yeah.
Some hash browns.
It's interesting too because like I'm not a great cook but breakfast food, like I can make a good breakfast. So, but when I go to a diner, I order breakfast, and that might seem strange because it's like you're getting the food that you know how to cook, but to me, it's like they cook it better. I don't know what it is that they do.
My wife is like that with Italian food.
Oh yeah,
she does not like going out. She's like, she's half Italian. She goes, I can make this at home. Why am I going to spend this? I can do the same thing at home.
Yeah,
but yeah, have you ever had Irish breakfast?
No, I bet it's awful.
No, it's good.
Okay,
it was the best. We don't drink anymore, so you wouldn't enjoy it as much. After a night of drinking, it's when it just absorbs everything.
Okay,
like you wake up the next day. Like now, I get how these like Irish guys can like plow a field all day and then plow through a barrel of Guinness at night because they eat this and it just absorbs everything. It's all like sausage, blood pudding, beans, eggs, toast, and it just soaks up everything in you after like a night of drinking. And you wake up the next day and you're not that bad.
What is blood pudding?
It's like they look like little hockey pucks, but it's like got blood in. It's like sausage with blood in it. It's I don't know how to describe it.
Yeah,
but it's good.
Yeah,
it's it's like dark color. Like it looks like they fry it in. There's got to be blood in it, but it's like a sausage, and it's so damn good.
And
there used to be a place on Queens Boulevard.
Oh yeah,
where like Sunnyside and Woodside, Queens were very like Irish immigrants. And you would go to this one place called Alpha Donut. at 4:30 in the morning, and there'd be a line out the door because everyone from the bar went there to get Irish breakfast. And this guy, and it was some old Greek guy on a fucking little stove at like a donut shop, just cooking eggs and beans and toast and everything else,
that
and
does
just
sound nice.
throwing them out. And it just filled you up. And then you slept like a baby when you got home.
There you go. Hell yeah.
Let's go out drinking after this.
Yeah, let's
Go get it.
relapse. I think it's what the listeners want.
I think the kids want that.
Yeah.
I'm ready to do it.
Would you so I've been asking people, I am obsessed with the 5-factor model of personality. So the acronym is OCEAN, and is openness to experience, conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism. So I'm curious if you would go along with this journey with me.
Let's go.
Would you describe yourself as conscientious?
I think I'm a nice, but like helpful. Like
Uh-huh.
I think there's always kind of always trying to like do the next right thing.
Yeah.
So I think I am that.
Mhm.
I don't think I would ever be. I don't think I'm extraordinarily mean or like a bad intentioned person.
Mhm.
So yeah, I could see that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Hardworking, would you say?
At one point, yes.
At one point, yeah.
At one point, yes, but not anymore. Yeah, I guess I am a conscientious. I guess you could say yes to that.
Mhm. I skipped over openness to experience because I feel like anybody that would like do this podcast is open to experience. You know, anyone who's
I think anyone in comedy is.
Yeah.
I think you could just check that one right off.
Yeah. Mhm.
So
That'd be weird if you
Yeah.
were I feel like if you have low openness to experience, then you
why?
you take the safe route. You know, you don't do art.
yeah,
Yeah. Conscientiousness. What is it?
extrovert.
Extrovert. Yeah, you're an extrovert.
Again, I think we all are, right?
Yeah.
If you get on a stage with a microphone and you want people to hear you, I think in a sense you are. I don't think I am like that all the time because I've seen you off stage, and I think when I'm off stage, it's kind of like we're just like, okay, we'll just have a little conversation with each other and we're just talking. It's not like, hey everybody, hey, this guy, that guy. That's very extroverted. But I think just to get on, you have to be extroverted to get on stage.
Interesting.
Because if not, then it would be like getting on stage and turning your back to the audience and then just like, don't look at me. I'm just going to tell these jokes like this.
Hedgeberg was kind of like that though.
He would have his head. Well, I mean, heroin helps. So, I mean, like, I'm not taking anything away from the guy. The guy was a genius. Very funny comedian.
But if you give either of us heroin, we would be just as good.
I want blue sunglasses.
Yeah.
I always thought about doing that look on stage. But I mean, yeah, there's some. Stephen Wright maybe is kind of like that too. Like he looks at the audience, but he's very like, okay, and then why is the alphabet in that order? Is it because of that song?
Yeah.
It's great. My favorite joke. But no, you have to have that in your mind when you get out there. You have to realize there are people looking at you, and you're expecting to get a reaction from them. And a lot of times, to give that you have to be extroverted on stage. So yeah, I definitely.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that we're more likely to be extroverted, but I know some fucking introverted comedians, dude. I remember one time I thought this guy hated me because I saw him on the train. I was like, hey, what's going on? We both know each other. We're gonna chit chat on the train. And he made it like very clear that he wanted to keep scrolling on his phone. And I'm like, and I was asking, I'm like, does this guy hate me? And they're like, nah, he's just like that. But I don't know how much of that is introversion, how much of that is phone addiction. You know what I mean?
Phone addiction. Maybe he's a little autistic.
That's you know what? I think you kind of hit the nail on the head.
Could be. I don't know.
The phone thing is crazy to me. I have people in my life that if you're talking to someone and you get a notification, I might be like, one second, I got, I have a text that I might have to answer. But there are people that will straight up, while you're talking to them, take out their phone and scroll. Yeah. I'm like, fuck, man, you can't browse Instagram when you're by yourself. That's crazy.
Yeah, I kind of like try and save it up for when I'm home,
Mm-hmm.
when I'm scrolling or doing whatever. But yeah, I hate that. I do hate that. Like you said. Yeah. All right. Hold on 1 sec.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. What? Oh yeah. What were you talking? But that whole like, oh
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
Like, you want to smack the phone out of their hand. You really want to smack the phone out of their hand.
I think I'm with the boomers on this one, Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah. Put your phone away when you're talking to me. I will say that I think that some people, I almost have empathy for it because I think we're so like addicted to dopamine now.
Yeah.
That it's almost like
Yep.
you can't take it personally, but if someone pulls out their phone and starts scrolling while you're talking to them, it might be because they're not stimulated enough from the conversation, which has nothing to do with you and everything to do with like how their brain is wired. Yeah.
Yeah. I have to see what Kylie Jenner's doing right now.
Yeah.
Because she's living a better life than me. And I have to figure out how I'm going to have that lifestyle.
Oh, okay. So the tumor, it's malignant, huh? Okay. Interesting. Oh, 6 months to live? That's crazy. You know.
Oh, your kids are in rehab again?
Yeah, again.
Good luck.
Although I will say, I've had the "your kids are in rehab again" conversation, and there's really nothing you can say.
Yeah.
Because the first time you're like, "Oh man, he's gonna turn it all around," but now you're like, "Fuck, I think he's addicted to heroin forever."
I've heard this about heroin,
Mm-hmm.
where it's like it's like a 7 rehab thing to like really. Some people like 6 to 7 times.
Oh, geez.
To like get it out.
Uh-huh.
But man, yeah, that's great. Thank God. Knock on wood, man. My kids. So
no heroin.
But yeah, thank God.
Dude, I did cocaine once, and I was like, I can never do that again.
Really?
Yeah, and this was like the crazy thing was it was as a drinking person, and I kept drinking for years and years. But I had cocaine once at a New Year's Eve party, and I woke up wanting more. And I don't have that I never had that relationship with alcohol. Like I needed like a few hours at least before I was like, all right, let's crack open the next beer.
Yeah.
But I woke up like, oh, cocaine's fun. And I'm like, all right, fuck that.
I've never done blow, but
Uh-huh.
I've heard I heard it's peanut butter and jelly with booze, man. That's what I've heard. And this
It helps you stay up longer to drink more.
I didn't know this ever. And you would see these guys at the bar like, how the fuck did this guy's been drinking as much as I am. I want to fucking pass out on the floor right now. And this guy's, that's why he's going to the bathroom every 25 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, bro. Yeah, man. Like that guy. And you're like, oh, he's on cocaine. Oh, okay.
I had a coworker that I suspect was like a cocaine addict, and he would when you're drinking late night with guys that have been doing coke, they always have like these schemes.
Yeah, I've heard that. Let's start a business.
But this guy would be like that at 10 a.m. for our like boring data entry job. He's like, I got a new way that we're gonna really fucking this business is. I'm like, dude, relax. Like it's data entry. It's fine. I'm about to take a walk break right now. You're turned up to 11. Okay.
What are we up to? A?
You know what? I think we're about out of time, believe it or not.
Oh.
So we're going to have you back on again to finish the personality model. But I think people got a good sense of you today.
I hope so.
Folks, write to the Before Hours podcast at gmail.com. Yeah. Tell us if you got a good sense of Mike. We're going to have him back regardless. Can you tell people where they could find you, Mike?
Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram, Mike O'Sullivan Comic, and on YouTube, Mike O'Sullivan Comedy.
Hell yeah, dude. Well, thank you for coming. And my friends, remember, early to bed, early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. I'm just playing night owls. You know I love you. That's it, dude.
Thank you.